Hello, hello. Hi, this is Dr. Hoke F. Young and welcome to Brain Power TV. And I have an amazing guest with us today. So, Trish, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Trish Wilkinson, founder of Brain Stages Parenting. I wrote with Jackie Frischnecht, who has since passed away, but I wrote Brain Stages behind me, How to Raise Smart, Confident Kids and Have Fun Doing It. And I have been teaching live workshops, and I am just launching a digital course with weekly group coaching. I'm so excited about that. It's just been amazing. I went from giving live workshops to kind of going all over the world now on, teaching parents all my techniques and tools that I mostly learned the hard way.
Yes, and that's why she calls her course a journey, because parenting is a journey, right?
Yes, it's the Brain Stages Parent Empowerment Journey, because
right.
It's amazing what we can have, what we can do when we have the tips and tools. It's funny because people will say to me, well, Trish, I should know how to raise my own kids, but the world has changed so much, even since our parents were raising us, right? I mean, the world with a digital age, and I mean, look what we're doing here. We're in 2 different states and we're having an interview, right? and it's exciting and wonderful, but a lot of times as parents, we don't know where the boundaries are as far as what happens with screen time, and also just like small shifts in communication make a huge difference for kids. And just, we know so much more about the brain now than we did, even a decade ago. So, so much exciting stuff has been happening in the science community as far as learning how kids learn and develop and just, all of those things. So we come from a place of power now. There's just no reason to try to, use this method of parenting anymore.
First of all, it doesn't work. So second of all, it's a bad idea, right? So I'm really looking forward to diving into this conversation with you. So you said you had a game to play with us. Would you like to tell us about it?
Oh, let's start with add a move. So, a lot of times kids are nervous when they go to school, or they have to be in a new environment, or they're going, you're a pediatrician, they have to go to the doctor, right? There are all kinds of things where kids get nervous. And this is a great game just to play anytime, like in the car, in the doctor's office, or in line at the grocery store. And what it does is, when kids are nervous, I mean, it's fun to play anytime. You don't have to use it for any specific reason, but I like to use it with families who have children who get nervous sometimes, or they have anxiety for whatever reason, because what it does is it gets us from those emotion centers, or the limbic system in our brain, into the prefrontal cortex for thinking in such a fun way. And kids don't even know it's happening. Right. So it's called Add a Move, and we're going to play this game. It's super simple, and you can play it anywhere. And except if you're in, a big public place or whatever, you don't want to do moves that make loud sounds like, clapping. If you're in church, you don't want to be clapping to do this particular game. But if you have a wiggly kid who is really having a hard time sitting in their seat during church or whatever, a small one, and this is a really great thing to do to keep them occupied and in their seat, for example. So all I'm going to do a move, and then you're going to copy the move. We're going to copy the move together, and you're going to add one more. And then we're going to do both of those moves and add one more. And this is fabulous for working memory. So kids who do games like this, it improves their short-term memory or their working memory, which does all kinds of great things, like makes them better at taking tests. It's a real, so it's just, right. So it's just a great thing to do for kids in general, because it's fun, but it has all these other great ramifications. So I'm going to do a move, and then we're going to repeat the move, and you do a move. So okay, so together we're going to do all of it.
Okay.
Right. Okay. And you can see why kids like this game, right? Because it's
Of
silly.
course.
And you can do it from anywhere from little bitties all the way to teenagers. And at
Right.
first the teenagers will go, oh, well, that's dumb. But then they do it for a while and their moves are just trickier.
Right.
They'll be dancing and
Yeah,
then,
of course.
and all of a sudden, and you have to figure out how to do that. But it's okay, because if they've been nervous about, doing a test in high school or whatever, and you're doing this silly game with them and they're getting silly and doing their dance moves or whatever, and you're trying to do it too, and they get to laugh at you, then
Right.
it completely dissipates the anxiety and they can go in there and think.
Well,
And it's also gotten their short-term memory going.
Well, you're absolutely right. But you know something else? It just creates a stronger bond between you and your kid. If your kid sees that you're willing to play with them on their level, there's nothing like that, because then it tells the kid that you're actually interested in them and that you see them like clearly, like they're not just that person over there that happens to be in your house. You actually are seeing them as who they are, and you're having fun with them and you're enjoying them. So it does build up this love bank in the kid's heart. So that's so
Well, and the other thing it does, because we're so focused on them for that short period of time,
right.
is it also builds their confidence, which is
Yes.
interesting. But you're not, so it's showing them instead of telling them that they can be confident. Like
Right.
I'm also a writer, right?
Right.
I'm also a writer, and we're always telling students, and I've done lots of writing workshops, and we're always telling people to show, don't tell.
Mhm.
And a lot of times people don't know what that means. What does it mean to show, don't tell?
Right.
Playing a game like Out of Move is showing your kids rather than telling them that they're important. It's
Right.
showing them that they can have confidence because they're important, because
Right.
you are focusing on them rather than telling them.
Yeah.
And I used to, sometimes with some of the parents I coach, I laugh and say, I know, I've been there. Gee, mom, I can't hear what you're saying because your actions are speaking too loudly. Because sometimes we'll be doing things, if we're not intentionally parenting, then
Mhm.
we're unintentionally parenting, and
Correct.
that can be a little dangerous.
I absolutely agree. Can we do it one more time? It was fun.
Sure. Let's do some different moves. How about, so now we do this together and you add, okay, good. So no, you have to do it with me.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so now we do all three and you add another one.
Okay.
So add another one. But you get it. And the kids add more and more. Oh my gosh, the teenagers, they get so complicated. Sometimes they'll have like 4-part moves and you're like, I don't even know if my working memory is that good. How can I even remember how to do that? Right. But it actually, for adults, it makes our memories better too. So if you feel like, oh my gosh, as I'm getting older, my memory is just not as good. First, it's not just that our memories aren't as good. If you're a parent, you get a lot of stuff going on. Right. So it's more headspace than it is memory. Right. But it actually, when your kids do this and you do this game together, it actually improves your memory.
I can see that, because now you're forced to try and remember the the moves to keep up with them.
You want to play another game? I have another game called We Got the Beat. Okay. And this one's a little noisier, but if you have kids, if you're in a crowd and you're waiting at the DMV or something, and you have to wait like an hour until your number comes up, or, some kind of circumstance like that, or you're in line at an amusement park or the zoo, or, wherever you might be going, and your kids have to wait in line and they want to run around. This is a great game to play. And it has a lot of the same properties of helping them work their, works the coordination centers in your brain and the memory centers, and, like working memory, like we were talking about, and physical thing. I mean, it works a whole bunch of things in your brain, but it's called We Got the Beat, and you make a pattern, like a clap pattern. Okay. And it sounds noisy. So I'm going to show you both the clap pattern and stealth mode. Okay. And kids, what do they love even more than playing a game with their parent in public? but doing it in sneaky mode.
That's right.
Right? So we're going to go, I'm going to clap a pattern and then you're going to do it after me. So,
Okay.
so it's good. So now you're going to do one and I'm going to copy you.
Okay.
Okay, now it doesn't work as well on Zoom because sometimes the clapping cuts out, but now we're going to do it in stealth mode anyway with our 2 fingers in our palm, because then kids have to really focus and watch as well as do the movement. So it works auditory, visual, and physical, all at this, and their memory centers. I mean, this is like a great, trifecta kind of thing for brain work.
Right.
Okay, so,
okay.
Okay, ready? So we're going to go. Good. So now you do one. And can you see how your kids will just do more and more? And they love coming up with them. And even older kids, they just get more complicated. It makes it a little harder for us, but it's really good for our brains as well as theirs. It keeps everybody, like if they're anxious or bored or any of those things, it keeps them busy. It's fun. It connects you. I mean, it gives them confidence. All of these things for these silly little games.
It's amazing. Well, no, I really love them. I'm going to try them with my kids. So cool.
Well, and you have 3 different ages, right? Because you have 3 kids,
right.
And you'll be amazed because your little one will be able to do this, your middle one and your older one, who's, how old is she now? 12?
12, yeah.
12. So, you have this wide range, and yet all of them will do it on different levels. It also gets the siblings, gets your children getting along better too.
I just thought of that. I'm like, well, if they're all trying to do this together, there's no time for fights.
Exactly.
Right. So that's so cool. Wow, that's really great. So what would you say to parents who have some difficulties engaging with their kids?
Well, this is a really, really great way to engage with your kids, especially if you don't know what to say. But I do want to mention, how kids come in from playing or school or whatever they've been doing, and you say, "How was your day?" And they say fine, and they walk off, right?
Right.
Because when we ask a question like that, 2 things happen. One, we put them on the spot, and so it goes right smack into their limbic system, into the emotion centers, and they're like, I'm on the spot. I don't know what to say. It was fine. And they walk away. Or a lot of times they'll come in and they'll be like, what do you mean? I did a whole bunch of things today. I don't even know how to explain that. It was fine. And they walk away. And not even all of it is conscious. But instead, if your child walks in, and by the way, if you're a kid watching this also works with your parents. So if another person walks into the room and you say, you look thoughtful, or wow, you look happy, whatever look is on their face, if you acknowledge what you see, and then you're just quiet, if you want them to talk to you, they will explain that look. Does that make sense? Even quiet kids. This even works with quiet kids and adults. You look really thoughtful. Wow. Sorry about that. Somebody just came to my door, and my retriever does not know how to not do her job.
That's okay.
My husband just came to get her. Okay. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So
very nice husband.
Yes. That's wonderful. He's a keeper.
Definitely. Well, 35 years. Yeah. I've decided that a while ago, I guess.
That's wonderful. Congrats. That's wonderful. So it's okay. So you were saying if it even works with the quiet ones. I can see how that would work because it's a deeper question, and it tells the child that they're interested, that you're interested in hearing actually what's going on with them versus just the surface question.
Without putting them on the spot. If
Right.
you just say, wow, you look quiet, or they come in with a smile and you go, wow, look at that smile on your face. And then you just stop talking, they'll usually tell you what they're smiling about. Or if they come in looking angry, ooh, you look angry. And then you just don't say anything, they'll usually tell you why they're angry. Whatever emotion you see on their face,
Right.
then you just mention whatever you see, you mention what you observe, and they'll usually talk to you and explain whatever it is that you observe without being prompted. So it just takes all of the emotion out of it, and then they can think about it. And if they're having an issue or a problem, a lot of times if you just listen, they'll talk themselves through it and figure it out. So it's great for developing kids' emotional quotient, helping them develop their emotions, identifying their emotions. If you're telling it, wow, you look really angry, all of a sudden you've given a name to their emotion. They know what that looks like. Or
Right.
you look excited, or you look, whatever you see, if you're
Right.
naming their emotion, they're starting to learn what their emotions are and how they feel, and they can connect whatever that emotion is that you're seeing.
Right. And I like your emphasis on don't say anything, because a lot of times let me speak for myself. So I can point something out and immediately start going into full analysis mode. Oh, are you angry because this happened? And what, and I don't even give the kid a chance to say anything. So that's a really good one. Thank you for that. I'm gonna have to practice that one. Just before
Well, and it's a great way to teach your kids how to listen, right? Because a lot of times they're thinking about what they're going to say next,
Right.
especially if they feel listened to and
Mhm.
you model listening, they
Right.
will listen to other people.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
wow, how many adults do we know have a hard time with that? If we give our kids that gift of being able to listen and really be attentive to other people, man, those are the next CEOs
I know. Of some
of
companies that
companies.
people would love to work for, right? Because they will be
Right.
listened to. Oh, wow, I love that. And that's such an easy thing. But I'm glad that we're talking about it now, because then we parents, if we think about it, and you children, if you think about it, then you're more likely to listen better to your friend. And if you listen to your friend, then your friend also listens to you, and see, then you get along better. So, I mean, it goes both ways for adults and for kids. So that's
Well, and it
good.
also, if you want to know how to make friends, be a
Right.
good listener. Tell them what you see, what you notice, and then listen to them. And they'll think you're the best conversationalist in the world, even though you barely said anything.
Right. Everybody wants to be seen and heard.
That is so
Yes.
true. And if we do that for our kids, here's the other thing, it gets us out of trouble.
Mhm.
So I don't know about you. What I used to do with my kids before I learned this little trick, this technique that I'm telling you about,
Right.
what I used to do is even if I said, wow, you look angry, and then I would say, well, is this happening and this and this and that, like you were talking about? And I would sometimes find out I was wrong. And my oldest daughter in particular, she was sensitive to things, and she'd get so frustrated with me that I was wrong and I completely misinterpreted. So if I would just say, you look this, she might even say, oh, I'm not really thoughtful. I'm kind of annoyed, or I'm not really angry. I'm just a little frustrated, or whatever. She would correct me. And then I'd think, I didn't step in that one. She corrected me, but I allowed her to explain, and I'm not in trouble now.
Yeah, you missed that bullet.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the other thing with teenage girls, especially, or preteens, sometimes I find that if you name the emotion, say you look angry, maybe something has happened with brother or sister. If you look angry, and then the immediate retort is, no, I'm not angry, and then you're tempted as parents to say, and then continue it like in the accusatory, oh no, but that's what I see. So if I just stop right there, then I'm giving her time, and then she'll tell me when she's ready.
And if she doesn't, then you just say, what I found worked for me is to just say, well, tell me more about that. So I'm not angry. And then you wait. And if she doesn't talk, say, well, tell me more about that.
Right.
And if she says, tell me more about what, you say, well, you said you weren't angry, but you came in with a look on your face. So obviously I misinterpreted something. So tell me more about that.
Right.
And it gives them the opening to talk, and then they feel listened to, rather than us asking them a question and putting them on the spot. Because a lot of times when we ask questions, they have this idea that there's a right answer. And with so many questions, there is no right answer. As you know, being, in science and whatever, being a pediatrician, and I'm, a real total science nerd. And so we know that there are a lot of questions that we answer or that we ask just to be able to explore what's going on with it. A lot of times there are no right or wrong answers. And a lot of times we discover things along the way that we had no idea we were coming up with. I mean, so many things have been discovered by accident, like chocolate chip cookies.
So tell me about that.
Chocolate chip cookies. So there was an English king, I don't remember which one, and he asked for chocolate cookies. And the cook was out of time and forgot to put in the chocolate. So he just cut up the chocolate and put in pieces of chocolate instead of chocolate. And then it came out like a chocolate chip cookie, and he was afraid he was going to be beheaded, but it turned out the king loved them and they called them chocolate chip cookies. And ever since, it's been, one of the favorite cookies in the world. So total accident.
No, but that's so cool because even things, I like what you're saying about things being discovered by accident. Well, because either we're asking questions or we're just trying. So it does help with the open-ended question like that with the kids. Like I just used it on you. I just said, tell me more.
Yes. And it worked, didn't it?
It totally worked.
I told you a whole story about chocolate chip cookies.
That's right. That's wonderful. Wow. So moms and dads, I would really, really recommend Brain Stages, her book. It's so amazing and it's full of just games.
Loads of those games.
Yeah. Yeah,
all kinds of other stuff too.
Yes.
I mean,
And it's set up by ages, and which is really cool, like the age ranges. So that's so helpful. And check out
actually a grade by grade guide through elementary school.
Grade by grade. Yeah, sorry.
When your child's in kindergarten, this is kind of where their brain development is. This is kind of where they are socially. I mean, all kids are different, so it's a range. But this is kind of where their social development is. And these are the things that our society says they're supposed to know at this age. Right. And here's a whole bunch of fun games to play so that they make sure to fill in all those things that they're supposed to know. And that's from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade. So you get to know, like there's a list. This is what your kids are supposed to know this year. Because I was a teacher for decades and I've taught all the grades. And I used to have to look it up all the time, what kids needed to know. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to just have a place whenever my kid gets into a certain grade that I can just look at it and just know right away what they're supposed to know that year?
Well, and now we know. We have it.
So now we do. Now we have it. Yeah.
Where can they find your book?
Well, they can find my book anywhere, but the parenting courses, there's all kinds of free stuff if they just go to thebrainstages.com. And brainstages.com/empowered-parent for the Brain Stages parent empowerment journey. But there's all kinds of fun stuff and helpful things, free things as well. So just go to thebrainstages.com.
Wonderful. Love it. Trish, we're going to have you back again because this was so cool. And you have to teach us some more games.
There's more games. There's also all kinds of really fun, quick hacks to help your kids learn better. And I mean, just all kinds of brain stuff that, we only learned in the last decade or so.
Yes. So thank you so much for honoring us with your time. It's really, I really enjoyed myself, and I hope you kids and parents did too. So thank you, Trish.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a blast.
Yes.